good afternoon, or evening, or morning, wherever you happen to be. This is my very first streaming, my very first YouTube. Hope everything's okay, the audio levels are okay, and all the rest of the stuff. I will be making this up as I go along. As it stands now, I have a flight plan lodged with IVAO. This is part of the IVAO World Tour, and we'll be flying today from ENZV, which is it's like just off the bottom of Norway there, to ESGG. So I'll be doing it in the Chipmunk. This is what I've done the last few flights in. It's a lovely little airplane. It's I like the old school dial flying. I'll be flying it from the rear cockpit because in this aircraft the only instruments you have, the only navigation instruments you have is from the rear seat, and you actually have to turn those on by flicking this little switch down here. I may or may not use the autopilot. Depends how I feel. The weather here is clearing up though, which is good. When I first connected, it was pouring down rain and visibility was really low. It looks like it is opening up a little bit. With this cloud base, it looks like we will be doing a bit of scud running. However, let me just clear this away. The weather at our destination does look like it's wrong button. Does look like it's reasonable. So I'll just go to our destination airport, ESGG, and open the charts, get the information, have a look at the weather. We can see that visibility is Cav OK, so visibility is high, and looks like there's no cloud, so it's going to clear up by the time we get there. So we'll do a little bit of scud running initially. The only problem that might exist is this route. There is some mountains here, so the amount of scud running I can do may be impacted. I'm going to be full fuel, so if the event that it does get too bogged in, I'll come down to the south and even fly coastal if I have to, and then pick up SVA and then come across over to our destination here. Now, I've had a problem with the battery in this aircraft. It does only seem to last about an hour or so. I have emailed the developers. The developers did say they recognise the issue and they are putting a fix for it. But it does mean that I end up losing my nav instruments maybe after about an hour or so, which is going to put me about over here somewhere in the middle of the water. If this is the case, I will try and pick up this bit of land here. I'll take it to the edge of this land, and then I'll move across track east, and try and dead reckon our way to this city. This town looks quite large. I really should know some of this. Gothenburg, it's probably pretty large. So yeah, I will aim for that, and once we get to that, we know the airport's probably on the other side. So, well, it definitely is on the other side, but if I've got the right town, that is. Now, I haven't done any checks or anything, but I think we're pretty much right to go. I've got the flight plan in for a departure in around 10 minutes. So we'll just start up, do our run-up checks, get to the end of the runway, and be on our way. So let me first grab up the map for the airport. I can get it from the bottom here actually, and we'll grab the. Now I normally do all of my flying. I'm not a fan of GPS, so I don't use GPS for anything generally. This is just to keep skills up with steam gauges. I just like steam gauges. And I generally fly with my position in Navigraph off, so I can't really cheat and see where I am. The only thing is, if you go to the WebEye though, you will see yourself wherever I am. So I do tend to, should be here. So I do tend to not look at this guy either. I try and keep this guy off. I will look at this occasionally, not to cheat, but just to make sure I'm not going to go into any airspaces. As it stands, I won't be. I'll be able to be on Unicom the whole way, and we can get started. So I'll only use this for taxiing. Now the wind is something I haven't checked. Let's just go to the airport and have a look what wind we got here. So we do have wind approximately from the east-ish, so we'll take off from airport 10, sorry, runway 10. Okay, so that's a short taxiway, and you know what? It's a little airplane, takes off in nothing, so I'm going to do an intersection departure from taxiway Delta there. I'll just take off this way. And this is the direction of flight, actually. We want to be heading... whoops, 120, I think I saw. 120. So we'll get all that stuff set up once we get started up and got a little bit of electricity, which we may as well do now. So I'll turn my head tracking on. Cockpit door is open. That's just to help me facilitate taxiing. Now, pretty simply. Now I turn my parking brake off when I start up an aeroplane, and I just use foot brakes. This Chipmunk is fitted with brakes, so wheel brakes. So I do just start an aeroplane usually with those, and typically we just make sure, like any aeroplane, I tend not to use a checklist for aircraft once I get very familiar with them. To me, the idea is better that you flow your way through the cockpit rather than sort of, going via a checklist. And it's pretty straightforward, right? We make sure fuel is on, and fuel is on through this lever here. We make sure fuel is on by setting the mixture to rich. So that gives us the fuel. We now need the spark, which comes from the magnetos. But before that, I'll just turn battery on. Okay. There's not a lot of illumination going on in here. We'll turn the Maggies on. The Maggie switches are down here. Turn those on. And then we are, I think we're good for start, unless I'm missing something. This is normally a aircraft that you'd pull the propeller to start it. But with this one, it's got a cartridge start, so I can just pull the start lever, which normally is only available from the front seat. So I'll pull that. It should start at 1,000 RPM, which is here. I might put some illumination on just initially, because I think it should clear up and it should be quite bright later. I hope you can hear me. Let me check the levels. I might just pop the audio level of the engine level down a bit. Hopefully that's okay. Alrighty. So very simple. I mean, I've got oil. I think it's oil pressure here, which I checked on the start, which came up straight away. That's kind of it. There's not a lot to this. I've got my artificial horizon. I've got direction. Now direction on this, the compass is horrible. I basically have to spin this ring around until it fits north, because I guess back in those days they couldn't figure out a way to turn the compass card at the same time. We see our heading is around about 145 or so, and that's kind of almost consistent with this one. It's more like there. So I'll check against the compass from time to time, but that's our direction indicator, which is gyro driven. Climb and descent, obviously, turn and slip, and altimeter. I'll leave it at 0. We've got a clock. Now, navigation instruments up here. We know we want to go 1, 2, 0. So go around to 1, 2, 0. As fast or as slow as you like. Come on. Maybe I can drag it a bit. We can drag it a bit faster. Okay, 1, 2, 0. Okay. I think that's what we're after. Oops. All right, I'll turn Naviggraph off for now, so we can have a look at what we're doing. Alrighty. So it's a very short taxi. It's literally out that way there. I'm sure we don't hit this guy. You know what? I'm going the wrong way. Unbelievable. Okay, I'm going to grass it. This thing should turn pretty good. Just so the... Okay, there we go. That's pretty good. Sorry. Okay. So the runway is just here. That should have been a little bit of a hint. Alright, because we're operating in a world where there's virtually no other aircraft, I'm just going to do my run-up checks right here at the holding point, which we generally wouldn't do, but we may as well. So I'm going to go to 2000 RPM. Okay, mega check. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was a fail. Instead of grabbing, oh my god, one mag, grab both. That's going to make the highlights real. Okay, I've got a mag drop on both of those. I looked at 75 RPM is from what I remember from my flying days, and it looks pretty good. The problem I have is that, you know, being a sim, it's probably coded up to do a 75 RPM mag drop. You know, in real life, you often get fouling and you have to start running it up harder. I'm doing an idle check, but it should be about 750, which again is probably going to be coded up. Looks good. There's no carby heat, there's no propeller, there's no nothing, it's pretty straightforward. So let's shut the top to keep the wind out. And the only other thing I need to do is set the frequencies. So I'm just going to bring Naviggraph back up. We're done with that. We'll turn off this so we're not cheating anymore. And we're going to be tracking from the, let's turn this off as well, from the ADF, sorry, the VOR 11685. So we just want to make sure we have 11685 here. Come on, 116. 85. Is that a 6? Oh my goodness. Well, is that a 5? So there must be a 6. Now it looks like it hasn't picked up the station. Oh yeah, of course, because I have to transfer it. Okay. That looks more like it. Alrighty. Now, I'll turn nav lights on, make sure they're on. Now, I do my standard checks that I do before I roll out into a runway, which I call flirt, as in flirt with danger. They are flaps. I'll drop flaps 1 notch. Lights, okay, I'll turn landing light on at this point. Instruments are set and checked, so we've got radio, we've checked out DI, altitude, we've got to 0, they'll look good. Radar and radios, so I don't have a weather radar, I don't have any radios are set to 122.8, 122.8, correct, and transponder and trim, so I think the trim's about right, and it's down here, it should be about sort of 2-ish, and transponder, well, it's not lit up for some reason, but I know in my IVAO client's pilot thing, pilot client, that it is set and it's on. Alrighty, so I'll just turn everything off again and we can roll out until we get going. Now, since section departure we've got plenty, I'm going to go full throttle, I'm going to climb out. Shortly after climb out, I'll be raising the flaps, I'll stay clear of cloud, I'll reduce back to 2700 RPM shortly after takeoff. And we're going to cruise at 2600 RPM, which is a lot higher than the Chipmunk standard. Which I think is 2200 with a 2400 max cruise. But this is a sim, I don't expect the engine to brake on me. It just gives us, 5 to 10 knots more cruise speed, which this is a long flight. Okay, and down. I'm seeing I can get really wild on the rudder once the tail lifts off for some reason, but something in the sunline. That right wing was just wanting to lift up there. Okay, accelerate it. I'll climb out at 70 knots. Okay. I think we can retract the flap now. We don't really need it much. And turn the landing light off, because I want to save the battery. I might be losing the battery soon. Okay, bring it back to 2700. I'll just do straight out. Now I want to stay clear of cloud, and that's rain over there. I want to stay clear of that as well. So I'm going to flatten my climb. I just want to get away from this rain a little bit, because we have to stay VFR, and I feel if I punch into that it won't be so much VFR. In fact, you can see we are just catching the edge of that rain. It means I can't intercept the VOR, but that's fine. We can do that later. Almost declare cruise now. I'm just going to come back to 2600. We'll do a little bit more climbing, but I don't want to climb up too much. I want to stay above those mountains, but below those clouds. The only other option I could do, but they do look quite high, is to climb up through that hole and go VFR on top. But I do want to stay visual in case I lose the battery and then I lose the nav instruments. Interestingly, we are travelling in the direction of 120, and yeah, we're way to the left of the track. Right. That's a pretty mucky. I think we'll give it a go. I'm going to be hand flying this whole flight. I have to say, Microsoft Flight Simulator is quite magnificent. You know, if you want to fly over and look at your house, it won't let you do that. I mean, you're kind of some sort of thing will be there for your house. It certainly won't be your house, but there'll be a block there to suggest there's a house there. But it kind of doesn't matter. I mean, for VFR navigation, I want to be able to look at a map and look at towns below and look at roads going in and out of the towns, maybe look at landforms, look at river shapes, and then just navigate that way. And that's like the essence of flying. You don't need all this fancy glass stuff. Good old eyeball Mark 1 with Artificial Horizon Mark 2 will get you there. Yeah. The rain's kind of... Oh, that's the rain behind us that we just kind of went through. There's another rain shower there ahead of us. And I mean, at this stage altitude doesn't matter. I've trimmed it up for essentially what are we at, bit over 3,000. Doesn't matter right now. To be perfectly frank, we're just actually trying to make sure we get some sort of direction. There's the coast to this. Well, that's not quite to the south, but that's the coastline which we can fly to if it all gets a little bit much with cloud and mountains. I don't know who the guy up the front is. I don't know where he came from. Or why he's in my aeroplane. Maybe he just saw there was a front seat free and decided he'd jump in. So I'm a little bit above 26 because I think I'm just getting on the plane a bit, so I'll bring it back to 2600. You know, it's one thing to push the boundaries a little bit, but I don't want to be ridiculous. I mean, you could theoretically fly this in, at full throttle the whole way and it wouldn't make any difference at all. But, you should, if you want to fly real aircraft, you should have an idea about your power setting you're going to use and use it. And it just so happens for the sim, this aircraft wouldn't operate at 2600 RPM. But that's what the power setting I've chosen, so I'm going to claim it. There's a lot of rain up ahead, which is going to get a bit dicey. One thing we probably would want to check if this were a real flight and we didn't want to hit mountains. Let's have a look at our lowest safe altitude for the track we're intending. and 5.3, so 5.2. So we wouldn't want to be lower than 5,300, really, because somewhere here there's a mountain that's going to make our day if we are below that. Yeah, so getting back to Microsoft Flight Sim, I mean, I never, I mean, I've only just started getting into it. I've been a long time X-plane flyer, and you know, X-plane's been really good. The fidelity of the aircraft are just awesome. And I bought Microsoft Flight Simulator when it first came out, just because that's what I tend to do. But I didn't use it for a long time. It was 90 gig on, 90 gig on disk of the initial install, and I was just thinking that's a lot. I think X-Plane's something similar, but not unlimited space here. And then this is a bit. You can see a little ray of sunshine there that might suggest that the rain's a little bit lighter that way. Yeah, so I've flown X-Plane a lot, and then with Microsoft Flight Sim, okay, we're coming up to our, train of thought, but we're coming up to the localizer, so I'm actually just going to go back to my localizer heading, and I'm just going to hold it, and then just try and stay clear of terrain. So anyway, I decided to give Microsoft Flight Simulator a go, finally. Actually, the impetus there was X-Plane 12 came out, and I installed X-Plane 12. And on my machine, it really struggled. It really struggled to get more than 20 frames a second. And there's probably a lot of settings I could tweak and stuff, but I thought, well, I'll give Microsoft Flight Sim a go. And, I mean, as you can see, it's my old computer that's very high fidelity, complex aircraft, and do the IFR tour. So my favorite, for example, was the 747-200 from Phyllis, and that's a magnificent aircraft, and I really love flying it. But the sort of, it's no problem, right? You take off, get up to your 32,000 feet, and there you stay. You don't need to look at any scenery. But since going to Microsoft Flight Sim, I actually really enjoy VFR flying. And VFR flying by day, I don't generally even bother, with IVAO, we use real time and real weather, and I always used real time a day as well, to sort of add an extra element. But while I've been flying Microsoft Flight Sim, I really just stay daytime because, oh man, for you professional pilots out there, you see how much wibbly wobbly flying I'm doing to stay on the localizer. It's not a very good demonstration of professional navigation, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I really love the VFR flying. It's really nice. I mean, the aircraft aren't, they're not sort of fantastic high fidelity. I wonder which one is the emergency lighting. Yep, that's the right one. And I'll just bring on the red lighting. You know what? I'm not going to use any lighting. I want to try and keep the battery going. This is getting messy. I'm not even sure I don't think I'm VFR anymore. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to climb out. Sneak in a little bit of let's say night VFR endorsement flying here. Let's pump up the RPM. It'll help us get away from the lower safe altitude concern as well. No, it's really messy out there now, so hopefully this cloud layer doesn't get too high. Yep, 70 knots, come on, 70 knots. Don't go below that. Yeah, see what's happened now? We are not climbing. I'll just drop the nose a bit. I'll just trim it back a bit. That's 5,000. Honestly, it looks like we need to hold off a bit of drift as well, because it's still a little bit to the right of track, even though we're pointing sort of southeast. We're just trying to track. So I need to make a decision about how I am thinking about going. And if I get up there and it's still cloud, then I need to reassess what I'm going to do. One thing I will do there is dial in the next SVA, which is 112.1, 112.1. .1 and we'll see if we can pick it up yet. Yep, we can. Alright. Okay, let's head for that bad boy. Now, 7,000 feet. We're getting all iced up. Oh my god. So this aircraft does not have a carby heat. And since we're getting all iced up, we probably do not want to go any higher than this. Unless it's sunny on top. Because we're basically in really cold, moist... Well, not really cold, but we're in cold, moist air right now. That's why we're getting iced up. So we need to... if we can get clear of cloud in the next little while, we should be right. But I do not see any sign that it's breaking. Oops, I didn't really want to clip that. I'm just trying to get a feel for if another big problem now. So another big problem now is that if I want to descend and try and get some of this ice off me, I'm going to be very precariously descending into terrain. And I don't have something that's going to say terrain when I get down there. Interesting little gap there. Okay, I can't fault that. Now that's 8,500 feet. I think we're I think we've done enough. I can't see anything blue above me. There's some blue when we took off above us. Alright, I think this has gone too far. 8,500 feet. Okay, and now we've leveled off, and so I'm going to descend. I'm going to throw caution to the wind. Because we can't fly along ice top. We can't hand on heart fly along ice top. This aeroplane would have stopped flying, I think, a while ago. So I need to be realistic and get down. And I can't believe there's no cabin. It's cockpit ventilation. I don't think that's going to melt the ice off the so I can vaguely see some clouds out there. Oh, you know what? We do need to be careful that we're not going to hit a hill, actually. How are we going to do that? How are we going to do that without being able to see out the front? This is a whole lot of bad airmanship. And if anybody ever watches this that flies for real, if you find yourself in a situation, probably the best thing to do, actually, looks like a little bit of blue up ahead. Level off here. Level off here. Come on. Leveling off means different things to different people, I guess. Because it kind of looks like it's opening up ahead. And it's kind of what we are expecting, because we know it's clear at our destination. I just want this ice to go away, and I've got nothing to do to fight this ice. It's a good thing that it looks like we're actually above a layer here, so I'm going to stay at this altitude. What are we at? 5,500. I'm just going to stay here because that actually kind of looks like mountain down there through this. Yeah, I think that's mountain. I think that's the right time to stop descending. We do have a 5,500 minimum safe, so the lowest safe, so I'll keep it there. Let's keep it there. Let's just it looks clear enough ahead. That ice might start to melt off a bit if we're in between the layers and we're not picking up extra moisture. So the ice might start melting. I'll definitely have to listen back to this to see if I got the audio levels right. They kind of look okay. Oh yeah, I've got my little gap here and I can see that ain't no cloud. That's a little bit of cheating. I shouldn't be doing that. Really, I shouldn't be doing that. It's a great aircraft. This is from a little studio called, I think they're a little studio called Aircraft Heaven. They've got a few different aircraft. They tend to stick more with the vintage aircraft, which I absolutely adore. Like you know, all of the advancements in aviation, civil aviation, military aviation, is all very much safety focused. You know, and case in point, I'm in a situation where I've got very little visibility. I'm not really sure what the terrain is. Not really sure where I am. I'm just following this heading. Haven't got distance measuring equipment even, so I'm just literally just got this radial that I'm roughly flying to, and it's even descending slowly and just give it a notch of trim up. You know, I've got no anti-ice protection or any ice protection. The electrical system's not even working properly. So, you know, you got all this, you know, modern airliner pressurization. All of this stuff is for safety, and modern air travel is extremely safe. You know, but there's something lost. You know, almost the soul of the aircraft is lost, I think, with all of those systems. You know, I feel an aircraft like this is all you need. Stick and rudder, a couple of basic instruments, and off you go. Yeah, I think that ice is starting to clear because we are in between the layers now, so I can actually start to see more. So, yep, that is the train below us. And just like that, you know, you come out the other side of all of that mess. Oh, look at it back there. I mean, jeez. You come out of all of that mess into sunshine, and you feel like it's a new day. This is quite a long flight, actually. It's you know, the SVA, which we haven't got to yet, which is on the coast up here. So I feel we're probably like around here somewhere. And you know what? As an exercise for the reader, let's do this. We are left of track. So we're going to be up here, and I reckon we are around about this area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on where we are, and I'm expecting it to be around this Beddick area, just maybe southeast of the Beddick area. Let's go. Oh geez, not even close, not even close. There's a difficulty here is that, you know, these rivers that are on the map, you just won't see them when it's apart from the windscreen being iced up, you just won't see them because they'll just be snow covered. They'll be iced up themselves and covered in snow. But that ice is definitely melting on the windows, so that's good. That's going to help us. Actually, I can see it's green up ahead. I can see we finish up with the snow stuff soon, actually. Look at my heading. Due south. I mean, I'm 60 degrees off where I should be. I've been basically, because I'm left of track, I've just been basically turning right a little bit to try and re-intercept, turning right a little bit to try and re-intercept. So there must be a wind coming up from the south. And no matter how much I fly southward, I'm just not intercepting the VOR. So I'm just going to head straight at it. That'll do. Wow, I can almost see where I'm going. Let's say we're VFR again. But unfortunately with VFR, you going there, buddy? Unfortunately VFR, kind of meant to be able to identify points of interest on the ground. Now, I don't know if it's still true or not, but back when I got my night VFR rating, you kind of should be careful about this, but you kind of were allowed to fly off instruments a little bit. I don't know if that's just something my flight instructor said I can do, or if it's for real. I was actually doing an instrument rating at the same time, so I felt I felt very, very comfortable being on instruments. I didn't need to worry that I'm going to get disorientated, get the leans and all that sort of stuff, because I'd done sufficient instrument flying. I was doing my instrument rating at the time, so yeah. And back then, talking about instrument rating, back then there was no GPS. We were not using GPS. It was all radio navigation aids. Much more interesting and can be more challenging, I think. I don't know. It's different. Same challenges, same risks, but different mindset, I guess. So rather than... Oh, okay, so... Yeah, there's so many of these little Fieldland style I don't know what to call them, lakes and rivers. It's actually really hard to navigate off those because of the fidelity of the Naviggraph map just isn't there to get it. So this has turned out to be a really slow trip. I would have thought that it's going to be an hour, 86 nautical miles from ENZV to SVA. I'm thinking that, 86 nautical miles an hour. We're doing 100 knots at the moment, but we did that 70 knot climb out. I'm thinking that we should be at ESGG about 10 past, which is in about 20 minutes. But if we are, that's seems to be a bit slow. We might have a... Oh, Jesus. Sorry, I don't mean to say that, but we are drifting right again. I need to just watch a little bit closer. Where was I? Yeah, navigating by those, all those little inlets you see down here. Very difficult. And some of these crevices and ravines will be on the map, but because there's so many of them, you can see that there's one there, one there, one there, one there. You never know which one you're up to. But we should... I think I can see the sea up ahead. Yeah, all that weather looks very angry. I'm glad I'm flying out of that and not into that. I'm flying into that. I would be thinking twice. But we know the weather's cav okay at destination. So I'm heading... Excuse me. I'm heading what I believe is straight for SVA, but we seem to be drifting more and more left of track. So that definitely would suggest there's a reasonable wind from the south coming up. And we're just like... Well, strange that our heading is about 135. Yeah, that's right. Yep. Yeah, so as we're getting closer, we're sliding to the left, and our nose is just slowly turning to the right to hit the beacon, and we're just letting our track move off to the right. Well, all the ice is gone. Sun is out. Is there no better place to be? This is my first broadcast, so yeah, still feeling my way whether I want to do this or not. But I think it might be a nice way to preserve some of my flights as well, and some of my thoughts around this sport that I've spent my entire life doing, not just virtually but physically as well. So. This is feeling slow. It's 51 now. I don't know what time this is set to. I wonder if I can set it to... it's 1:52. Nope, it's 12:52 on the same. That is obviously that's some sort of chronograph and not the watch. The watch for some reason is saying 2:25, but it is nothing like 2:25. GMT, UTC, local, any of 2:25 local maybe. No, 2:20. No, it's not 2:20. Right. We're at now 6,300. No, that's a bit different to 5,500 I was at. Oh, there's a nice little shaped lake. Now, that guy could be this guy. Stop turning towards it just because you get excited. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look, because that's water, it's not frozen. Okay, now, what's... I don't think it is. I don't think it is. It doesn't have the... No, this has got a very straight edge down this side, and this does not have a very straight edge at all. So it's not that guy. Well, we shall continue to be unsure of our present position. Now, you can see the cloud layer is just below us. So I'm going to just drop down below that. Turn our eyes up again, and I want to continue to look at this beautiful scenery. This Norwegian wood. I once had a girl, or should I say, she once had me. It's a very, very green strip of land over there. What is that? I look through my virtual binoculars. Just looks like farmland. So we keep dropping just a little bit more. Let's take it to... just below that cloud. How's that for professionalism? Below that cloud. Oh, the good news is it really looks like the weather's opened up. And by that I mean cleared up, not opened up, as in the clouds have opened up. That was back there. Still looks ugly back there. That's nice. I mean, that's nice. Again, well done, Microsoft, or Asoba, whoever's responsible for this product. It is really good. It's very convincing. Oh, gave us a little bit of time at 130 knots, so let's level off about there. It's going to take a little bit to level off because we'll get haven't leaned out the mixture. I've got an EGT gauge. Oh jeez. Again. What's the language, Chris? Come back. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Get max RPM. It's almost full rich. It's almost full rich. I think I can see the water. Good news is I still have some battery life. It's going to make things a little trickier. So I think I definitely will have to keep an eye out for that sort of land mass. Stop at 3.5-ish. Because one, I expect battery to run out somewhere over the water. Two, got this wind that's really messing up my navigation, and really 2600, and really not demonstrating my skills. But what can we expect at SCAM? Let's have a look. Oh, SVA. Let's have a look. So we can see there's a massive town here to the north, and I think could be the massive town to the north just ahead of us. That could be it over there too. Let's look at water features. So we've got an inlet here and an inlet here. Right. Well, we've still got the navigation aid, so as long as we've got that, we can at least point our nose at it. So out of all the frozen stuff now, into the nice lush green Norwegian wood. I once had a girl, or should I say, she once had me. Yeah, I should stop that. Okay, there's a really deep ravine which looks like there's a road. We go back to Navigraph. Kind of tracking this way, and this looks like a deep ravine. Ah, maybe not a road, maybe a bit of water. There's definitely roads out here, but I think we're coming in down this way. I think we're kind of here somewhere. Is there anything we can look across at? This funny little waterway with a, looks like a love heart with a R in the middle of it. Ah, that would be that one. Okay, that's definitely that one. So we're just north of that. So we're just up here actually. Nowhere near like where I said. Ah, so slow. Okay, we're kind of tracking southwards. Here we are. I did it again. Oops, I did it again. Yeah, because it looked like we're kind of tracking down this way a bit. I just got excited. I saw a landmark which I recognise. Okay, we're beamed that now. We're beamed that now, heading straight in, so we're kind of here somewhere. Looks like there's some road and rail and stuff down under us, which I think is that little stream and that little road. Okay. A little township here. This little township must be this this node land. Let's have a think about that. Yeah, this one here must be that one that's not shown on the map. Okay, so let's put this away. Let's get a little bit focused on what we're doing now. So we go from SVA, we then track for a long one, 95 degrees. It says we're doing 150 right now. Okay, that's about right. So return, we had 95 degrees. So I'll dial it in now. $90, $92, $94, $98. Yeah, a little bit unclear what those graduation markers are. So east 1, 2. Okay, there's this huge town to the north. Okay, let's get back to our 3.5 if we can. And let's see if we can stay on the radio so we can get an idea of how much drift we have to put in before we lose the radio. Beautiful scenery. It's just very nice. Let's try and get some. Let's just go for full mixture, full throttle climb for a second. Give the airplane something to do. Okay, there we go. There we go. Just nice. Alright, sorry airplane. Let's get you back to your 2.6. Oh, come on. Okay, we're getting station passage. Let's just be a little bit aggressive with that. Okay, so let's turn to 9.5 now. Something like that. Let's leave it like that for now. Let's intercept. There we go. And then let's hold. Let's pick up that radio. I know it's a little bit chunky. Okay, it's there. That's a lot of drift. That's a lot of drift. We're holding, what, 30 degrees almost. Oh my goodness. 30 degrees. So hold the radial. I think we just lost it. Oh no, it's still there. Okay. Just the way that it looked like it snapped to center then. Okay, so that's heading. I think heading like 120 is and the weather's messing up again, so but I know this is all water, so I'm going to happily descend down below it. Let's put the throttle back. Stay in our cruise power. La la la. Okay, I think we're almost good enough. Almost good enough. Okay, now we've got the long stint goes. Alright, let's try and trim it up here so I can go a little bit hands off stick for a while. Well, let's do one thing that we can't do in real life. Have a look from outside, how we're going. Oh, she's a machine of beauty. Looks like we're turning a little bit to the... Alright, let's jump back in. I don't know whether I like this so we're drifting, we don't need to hold off that much. Looks like that menu system, not sure I'm a fan of that menu system. So 110, and it's kind of holding. One zero zero. It's coming in. Ah, this is a long stint, this one. And I did that external view with Navograph window up. Ah, that was disappointing. Let's go for another round. Ah, that's probably better. Magnificent aircraft. Look at that. We're just busted through the other side, so let's head back towards the south a bit. I think 110 is the trick. Whoa, come on. Lift your nose up. Dear me. Has this got droopy flaps or undroopy ailerons? Ah. Right, what does this mean? I have bandwidth problems, is that what that means? Okay, so oops, wrong way. Let's sit at 110 and see how that goes. I think it's going to be about the right point. Right. So this leg should take about an hour and half? Hour and a half maybe for this one leg. Which means you really should now... What am I talking about that? We should now dial in the something on the other end. 1127 or 1146. Let's try for 1146. It's a bit of a... probably a little bit too premature for that. Being over water sometimes, you never know. So, and the other thing we should look at is maybe one of these other ones. So 1127, 11335. So let's go for 11335. One one three one 11335. Nothing. Uh, 1127 is the one that's closest to the 112. 1127 is the one that's closest to the coastline. Nothing. Alright, so we're kind of stuck with it for a little bit. But this nave we picked it up quite a long way, you know, almost a full sort of 80 miles. So it's going to see us halfway across this water. But it'll be nice to pick up the other side so I can get a heading, and then I can just try and hold that heading for the soon to be expecting battery to run out. I'm very impressed with the simulator, I have to say. I've been flying flight simulators in one form or another since the 90s. No, 1989 I think I got my first sim. Yeah, but let's call it from the 90s. I don't want to sound that old. And the level of graphics, well, there were none. There were no graphics back then. They had it was for me who was interested in aviation, of course it was amazing, but it wasn't much to look at. And these days, I mean, it's I think there could be a level of what is it? What's it called when you get accustomed to something? Could be a level of that, because like Google Earth has been around for a long time now, and then Google Earth even had that little kind of simulator, and it was not really much. But just allowed you to kind of fly around Google Earth. Desensitized. So maybe there's like a level of expectation that you have this level of graphics, but that's really well done. That's really well done. I mean, X-Plane 11, I think, may have been the first. I could be wrong, but I think X-Plane version 11 was the first one that was using OpenStreetMap data to at least give you all the roads. And quite often it was like that. You're flying around a remote area. I think I've lost the GPS. Oh, sorry, the GPS. Why would I got it? I think I've lost the radio nav. I have. No, I think that is because of the battery. So I'm going to fly now to 110. It's just going to try and hold 110 because I think we've lost the battery now. I think we have. I'm going to put this under 1127. Just in case there's any chance that. And Chris, that doesn't help. In case there's any chance to. Pick up the other side. I'm also going to trim it for just a little bit of uphill. Just slow, like without taking too much off the airspeed. Just a very, very slow climb. Just to give me a little bit of, you know, perspective. Some looking from the treetops kind of perspective. To try and pick up that landmass that's we're expecting on our right hand side. From which we'll fly east to sorry, swinging my chair around. From which we'll fly east and pick up that town of Gothenburg. I'm probably butchering that. So I'm just going to try and keep our heading roughly 110. It's moving around a fair bit. I'm committed to flying this by hand. I'm going to be all over the shop. In a real aircraft, I'm not sure why. Maybe there is a bit of a inner ear thing going on or something, but I feel I can level out and fly straight in a real aircraft much easier. I mean, you still have to pick something on the horizon and aim for it, for sure. And maybe that's where I'm going wrong, because we don't have that, you know, that luxury of something on the horizon, which, because we've had not such great weather when we had land, and how much fuel we got? We've got plenty of fuel. Started with full tanks, and it looks like it's hardly made a dent. Just going to get my binoculars out for that. Yeah, it looks like a little over 9 gallons on that side, and a little over 9, same. So I was drawing from both quite nicely. Well, this is uneventful. So the way that I've seen that this battery dies in this aircraft is these instruments go first. You see them almost look like they turn off, like I came here and hit the power switch, which doesn't seem to work, by the way, aircraft heaven. These will go off, but you'll still get like light here. You'll still get the nav lights if you look at the external view. You'll still get lights. You'll still get lights here and here. But then shortly after that, everything goes. They all go. So feel free for somebody to tell me if these nav aids draw more current or something, which is why they go first. Now, of course, the airplane has magnetos. That's something where the engine itself is responsible for generating the spark that is keeping the engine running. So, from that perspective, the engine is self-contained in the sense that, irrespective of the aircraft's electrical system failing, the engine will continue to run. And that's true of, I think, all light aircraft. Is yeah, I mean, original aircraft didn't really have an electrical system at all, except for a little map light, right? So, which was, had nothing to do with the engine. So the engines up the front of all aircraft, they have a dual magneto system. So if you lose one magneto, the engine will continue to fire. The engine will continue to work. Of course, if you lose both magnetos, it's going to stop. Yeah, but it's a very nice thing. I mean, it's not true of a car. If your electrical system dies in the car dies. As far as I'm aware. Correct me if I'm wrong. I guess except for those diesels. Diesels will... their spark comes from the compression of the gases. But the fuel we burn in aircraft, it does still need a spark, and the spark comes from the spark plug, and the spark plug is fed from the magneto. So we have no worries about the electrical system dying, except for the fact that we lose the navigation instruments. Now, this is way too early. I think I can see some land over there, but I feel it's way too early. Way too early. So it's going to keep plugging along. Could be like a mirage in the desert. Wishful thinking that we... definitely looks like something, but I mean, really, it could be. It could be. Let's bring up another graph. It could be that we're looking at this. We're here somewhere, and we're looking down at this part of it. And this rest of it will reveal itself as we get further along, but it's just too early. Yeah, we could be looking at this part of it because we're here somewhere, I'm guessing. We want this bit. And I guess the only way we know that bit is once we fly past it. And then actually after we've flown past it, it's really only, what's that, 60 miles? 60 miles? It could even be less. I mean, we should start seeing the coastline around here, and then we can start getting excited about the end. But again, I'm losing my way. To ESGG, and I don't know if I can do it. Without my RNAV, it's too far. Yeah. It's good we're cruising at 100 knots and still got a very slight climb, and so nearly up to 5,000 feet. That's good. Ugh. Sorry. Just looking around for my phone. Oh, there it is. Looks like it was lost up the back. Ah. Lovely. It's a lot of water though for a gypsy major to be spluttering its way over. I really can't see. Oh, there's a little bit of land behind us. Can't really see any land in front of us. I bet it's cold down there. Right. I seem to have stopped talking. So, yeah, I don't know where that is. You know, all the best intentions, or best plans, and doesn't seem to be working out terribly well right now. Kind of not really sure where I am. I don't know how much drift to hold off now because those clouds have really lifted up. So the heading I need to hold might well be very, very different now. I've got no visual guide. I've got no navigation instruments except it has to be said, bizarrely difficult, complicated. About 100. Yeah, really overly complicated compass. like a marine compass where things happen a little bit slower. So actually, if we do lose the electrics, we will not be able to see if there's generator fails. But of course, if we've lost the electrics, generator failure is really moot anyway. Okay. There's definitely some land down that way. We just don't know. It looks like the right shape, actually. It really does look like the right shape. I'm going to head towards it. Because we kind of do suspect we're getting pushed north. And this is a heading of 130. So, and it's going to take us a while to get there. So, I actually think that might be it. And I think it doesn't matter now. We've got more fuel than we have navigation ability. So I'm going to head for that because it kind of does look like it is that little thin slice of land coming up. The only thing I'd say about that is I'm seeing land, I think I'm seeing land on the other side of it, which I would not expect to. I think we're popping up into some cloud layer. The visibility looks like it's getting worse. Yeah, hard to tell. Could actually be a complete mirage. But see, it's kind of fat here, and then it thins out here, and that's consistent with what we're kind of looking for. So I'm gonna, like I said, we've got more fuel than we have navigation, so I'm gonna use the fuel to head to it. It's only 130, so we're not that far. If it isn't it, I can follow it north till I get to the it. If it is it, then great. I can pretty much just stay this heading, I think, because if that is it, we've come a long way north, and we're just going to continue to get pushed north, I think. So I may as well just stay on this like 130, 140, 130. If it is it, and I think that's going to get us pretty close. It's a pretty big town, what we're looking for, so I think it's going to be okay. Time wise, how are we going? I've been a little bit slack with the flight planning. I do quite often do the whole paperwork thing and jot down the times and work out an estimated time of arrival. Put in the actual time of arrival and calculate the next estimated time of arrival. Then I can even do adjustments along the way. But I think this, I mean, I wasn't kind of planning on doing it on this flight, but but the way this flight started, having to do the scud running and having to do, around the edges of rain cloud or rain downpours, it's kind of difficult, I think, to use those conventional dead reckoning techniques anyway. So I'm just back to eyeball mark 1. It's getting nice and blue. Those clouds are really going away. Still very, very messy back that way, but it's looking nice. It's looking nice. This is another thing. You know, an X-plane, when you... I don't want to dis-X-plane too much. It's been really good, and it's served me well. And again, the aircraft availability is absolutely phenomenal. It's going to take a little while for Microsoft Flight Sim to get those study level sims that, you know, a lot of the community want and like. But like PMDG is available for Microsoft Flight Sim. But even that, you know, when you want to ident a radio station, you just can't. You pull on the knob to give you your ident, and it just doesn't work. And apparently it's a limitation of Microsoft Flight Sim. And to me, I mean, that's one of the absolute basics of you know, instrument flight. If you're doing a precision and non-precision approach, you need to know that you're dialed into the right nav aid. Even for the ones we're doing here, we should be able to ident them. It looks like there's nothing here on these ones. These look too old, but well, that wouldn't make any sense. It should have something to listen to the ident. But Microsoft just doesn't have it. So there's a little bit of work there to do. That is so looking like what I'm after. There's a bit of work there to do, but and a bit of work to do with the aircraft. But when you transition from one weather area to another weather area, it really, like, you're flying along and you've got all these clouds around you, and then they all disappear, and then it rebuilds the clouds around you with the new weather, right? And if you look behind you where you just came from, it'll have whatever the current weather you're flying in. Whereas this, I can still look back and still see it's ugly back there. And that's just, just another layer, another level. So I'm going to aim straight for that point there. I think it is that point. And we've been here doing this now for actually since SVA. I think I didn't really pay attention, but I think we were 45 minutes in, so that's going to put us about halfway. And if it puts us about halfway, that is it. That is the one, because halfway is here, and that would suggest that is it. So, we were seeing this thing from a long way out, which is why I was a bit apprehensive. It was also far further south than I was expecting, and that's only just because there's a wind blowing us from the south, and as a result, yeah. So once we get to that, we're gonna head, like we said, we'll hold about 130, 140, because it's gonna put us on the right path. Gonna grab a sip of water. Important to stay hydrated. Okay, put the water down. Altitude is slowly creeping up. That's good. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with it slowly creeping up. As clouds have lifted way up. And with this ever so gradual climb, still cruising at 100 knots is good. Ah. Well, I'm running out of things to say. It's very difficult to talk for 2.5 hours. About this stuff, but yeah, because this flight's become very uneventful. It's we've definitely lost the electrics. This one of these should be coming in by now. If we look at some of the other ones, like 1113, 11395. No, there's nothing. It's Dedicums. The emergency lighting still works. The red lighting still works. As I was saying, these nav instruments do tend to go a fair bit earlier than the rest of the system. The aircraft builder said that it's got something to do with the way Microsoft has patched and it's changed the alternator curves or something like that. Alternator curves an interesting thing because this aircraft has a generator, and the power output of a generator is directly proportional to the RPM that has been applied to it, whereas an alternator doesn't have that limitation. So maybe it's the generator curves that they've messed up. You can see how the output from an alternator should be consistent, but the fact this thing's got a generator light means it has a generator. I know some of the older aircraft I've flown that have generators, you actually really have to manage the electrical system. For example, on ground, idling, there's insufficient generator output to run to make a radio call. If you try and make a radio transmission when you're on the ground and you're idling, you won't be heard. It'll just come through or gobble. It's like a bzzz sound. But if you run RPM up to, like, say 1200 RPM and make your radio call while you're doing 1200 RPM, then they can hear. So you do need to sort of be mindful when you're taxiing You'll hear okay, but you won't be able to transmit. More power involved in transmission versus receiving, which makes sense. Turned out to be quite a nice day. So this is definitely it. You can see the main landmass down there, nice and fat, and then it just has this peninsula, this thin peninsula jutting out. So this is it. Once we pass past it, yeah, just maintain this heading. Don't change. Don't change for you. Don't change a thing for me. You know, this thing's only got these two instruments from the back seat. So when you want to do radio navigation, you do it from the back seat. Use it. I may as well be in the front seat. But you know, I've tried to fly this thing from the front seat a couple of times, and it's not as much fun. And this thing here, you're trying to look down there, you're side slipping, you know, to see what's straight ahead. It's a lot more fun, a lot more interesting flying from the back seat. Actually, one thing I don't know, and if there's any Chipmunk owners listening, which I doubt it, but if there is this aircraft solo from the back seat or the front seat or either seat? I know this particular aircraft, Chipmunk, is a replacement for the Tiger Moth, which I have flown in real life, and you solo that from the rear seat. Doesn't make a lot of difference when you're soloing from the rear seat because there's no one blocking your vision anyway in front of you, so it's not that big a deal. You do sit further back and there's a bit more nose in front of you when you're on the ground because it's a tail dragger, but in any case it's not that big a deal. And that aircraft, yeah, like I said, is solo from the rear, and I wonder if the same applies to this. And the idea being is that, you know, the passenger is sitting directly over the center of gravity. The front seat person is sitting directly over the center of gravity. So whether you have a person there or not is not going to make a big shift in the center of gravity. Well, there'll be no shift in the center of gravity. But maybe there's an assumption that there will always be a rear seat person. Okay, I can start seeing the land on the other side now. It looks slow. It looks very slow. Barely seem to be moving when you look at the point of that island. So slow. Actually, that little thin strip of land doesn't look that thin. Looks like there's a lot of houses. Bit of a port, bit of a city, a lot of houses, a couple of windows. more of a town over here. Looks like a fairly major dual carriageway. So yeah, it's not just a little thin strip of land like it looks on the map. Right. Well, this now is the real dead reckoning. I'm trying to hold 140 from this point. And see if it's... Oh, geez, sorry. I just yawned. I feel like it's I'm checking the lights and everything is still working. Right. Now that I know where I am, I'm going to have a look at the IVAO web-eye. I just want to see if there's any other aircraft. So there's this one here. That is... look at my path, oh my goodness. So this one's just departed. What? Oh no, he's not coming this way. So there's no other aircraft that's you can see it's just, well, this is fine. This is during the weather. This is where I climbed up through the weather. Just a minute. Wow. Alright. Let's get some. So, yeah, and then my wibbly wobbly over the water. So, let's have a look at this. Right, so we can see land on the left there. That's another graph. Yeah, it might be this water area here. Just can't make any definition out, but yeah, can't make any definition out. But what we can do is we can kind of head a little bit more east, pick up the ground, turn to the right, and fly down the coast until we find it. If we try and aim for it and we miss it, and we can't see it, we're not going to know whether it's whether we need to turn to the right or turn to the left. So, change of tack. I'm going to do a more easterly heading on the understanding that I'm going to get blown to the north. And with that, I will need to turn to the right when I get towards the land. So I think that might be a better way to approach this than try and dead reckon it. Again, more fuel than navigation ability right now. So I'm still going okay. This is one of the longer flights of the IVAO World Tour. Just switch to the tour page. Like I said, this is leg 5 and 223 nautical miles. It's one of the longer ones. On all the others, I don't need to talk as long. It should be about an hour, under an hour and a half, hour. Oh, there's another big one there. For this one, I might fly the Bonanza. Got a very nice A36 Bonanza from, is it Black Box, I think. Let's have a look. NSFS A36 steam gauge, of course, overhaul. Just do this while we're flying along. Steam gauge, analog Bonanza, this guy. So this is very decent. I got this as well. Now it's a far more complicated aircraft, but you know what? It's got some switches here that allow you to turn off the GPS. That's right up my alley. And I used to fly an E33 Bonanza, which was exactly like this. Like it looked and felt, from what I remember, exactly like this, apart from the GPS. It didn't have a GPS in it. Ah, there we go. So you can see you can just have the radio stack and the weather radar. That's right up my alley. So it's very nice to fly. You know, I'm going to do that in the Bonanza. I'll live stream it as well, if anybody at all has seen any of these live streams. I will live stream it a little later today. This one's got to get approved. I've got to do the PIREP once I land. It does have to go off for validation before I can fly the next leg. So I might go outside. It's quite a nice day. Go outside for a while. And then I can come back and do it later. Also, I'll probably listen back to this one as well. Not all of it. I don't need to listen to myself for the whole way, but just to listen to the levels to see if my voice is okay level, to see if the audio of the aircraft is an okay level. I haven't got a camera, so I can't show you my face while I'm flying. I don't know if you necessarily want to see my face while I'm flying, but maybe you do. Maybe you want to see my facial expression. But yeah, this is all new to me. I mean, I've flown flight simulators, like I said, forever, and this whole YouTube and live streaming thing, never really thought to do it. A little bit of private that way. But, you know, most recently I thought, well, there might be some people that are interested in watching someone fly by gauges rather than take off, press the autopilot and sit back and chatter for a couple of hours. you know, I'm flying this by hand. I'm not using autopilot. I'm wobbling all over the sky, as evident in the track log on the IVAO WebEye, and that kind of just makes it all a bit more fun and a bit more real. And it's what you want. I mean, you know, it's as nice as it is to fly complex aircraft with complex systems that are, you know, so automated. But at the end of the day, do you really want to sit there and watch your computer simulate a computer that's flying a simulated aircraft in your real computer? You know, you're just pushing a bunch of buttons and off you go. You know, there's certain skill and interest in it. I mean, programming up the FMC prior to departure, putting all the parameters in, there's something about that, and I can always live stream something like that. There's plenty of people that do live stream stuff like that, though. That'll teach you how to do that stuff, but I think when it comes to live stream, I could live stream some other things as well if I, you know, not necessarily aviation, but we'll see how this one goes. We'll see how a few of them go, and see if it's worthwhile. And see if it actually even worked. Like I said, my computer's pretty old, and it can't push X-Plane 12 frames. And here I am trying to not only fly Microsoft Flight Sim, but all the mixing and YouTubing stuff is all on the one machine. So it might, I can see I've dropped a whole bunch of frames. I have to understand if I'm even broadcasting properly. Alright, we're coming up to the coastline. For my next trick, we're going to figure out where we are and which way to go. So this looks like a coastline with a lot of islands. A lot of islands. If we go to Navigraph, it looks more like here than here. So I think we're okay to head a little bit south, because that looks like a lot of this sort of stuff. I can't see this major big island. It looks like a couple of biggish islands that way. It could be these, who knows? But I think but that definitely looks like a lot of islands. I do think we need to be now doing exactly what we planned for and hitting the coast and turning right. Don't kind of want to turn right too prematurely though, and miss it, because that would be a bit embarrassment. I think we're alright. I kind of think that might be the town that I had. What's our heading? Yeah, 130. We kind of ended up. Oh, what was that? I just had a massive lag spike. Like, computer's gonna die kind of lag spike. Yeah, look, I'm going to get my pseudo binoculars out. That could be the town. It's got this. No, it could be a glitch of some sort, but that does look like some sort of square road thing. And if we go back to Navigraph, I think it's the square road thing. Yeah, I'm going to say that is that square road thing. So the airport's due east of that. Due east of that. Right. Okay, so let's head towards that angle bracket. And the airport is on the other side of town, so that I can see the town now. Town's going all the way out there. All the way out there. So the airport is going to be... Oh my goodness. It's a bit bigger, a bit more of an area than I was hoping for. Okay. Angle bracket and this river. Okay, let's have a look at that. Angle bracket and this river. Okay. That's not. These are not the rivers we are looking for. These are the rivers we're looking for. But that's okay. That's okay. That angle of that angle bracket is close. Yeah, the angle of that angle bracket is close. So let's just use that. IFR. I follow roads. So I'm going to get down to about 2000. So just last thing we'll do with this is I just want to have a look at the airport. And look at the weather. I know it's good, but 3033. So it just does 3033 in here. 3033. Okay. And elevation is 500 feet. So we're going to have a flyover of 2,000 feet and a circuit height of 1,500 feet. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be that precise, but it just gives us something to aim for. And speaking of aiming for, we still have electrical. We still do, but navigation aids. Disappointing. Now just throttle back for the descent here. I want to descend down to 2,000 feet to get a good look at the windsock. Now, one last thing is the windsock. I'm looking at it. You can't see it. Oh, I should do this properly and professionally. Windsock is at the end of runway 03 and at the end of runway 03, and we expect with the wind variable at 4 knots, we're going to land on runway 03. So we're going to descend on the dead side, join crosswind, do a normal pattern in is what we're going to do. None of this, we've just flown for 2.5 hours. We're going to cheat the whole thing by doing a straight-in approach. None of that. We're going to do this like a regular Sunday warrior. Okay. Let's get down a bit of speed. We'll trade off. I'll tell you what, I'll get a 2.6. And I'll just trade off a bit of height for speed. Let's not let the engine overrun as we accelerate. Because I'm going to cheapen it and go a little bit faster. And I think over those, over the angle bracket, I don't want to be lower than, say, 3,000. I think that's low enough. And that's, following that angle bracket angle, we will expect the airport to be on our left. Pass right under us. Could look for is that second set of little river, and I think I might see it around here, so we'll aim for that off the angle bracket, and that should get us in good stead for getting close to the airport. We're at 4,000 feet now. We don't need to keep dropping down too much. Let's get back to our 2.6. Yeah, a couple hundred feet a minute's fine. This does feel slow, I must say. But you know, I'm assuming. Oh my word. There we go. 6 gallons aside. I mean, we can stay up for another couple hours. Easy. Alright, so there's the angle bracket. There's that river system. Which means the airport's going to be out here somewhere. Okay, let's get down to the 3,000. Let's try and track along the angle bracket. See what we're holding off. Though. Not this. Okay, there you can see we are drifting. We are drifting to the left. Okay. That angle bracket thing, like we called it, what is it? It's not a road. What is it? Somebody tell me what that is. Looks like there's a parkland down there. And then with a walking track, and then that angle bracket thing is coming. Oops, let's not stick our head outside the aircraft. It's funny, it's on the map. It really looks like a this is beautiful. Come on, this is beautiful. Well done. This is nice. I mean, I've never been to this city, and I'm sure it doesn't look anything like this at treetop level, but no, this is nice. This is really nice. This is really nice. Well done. Looks like school grounds down there or something. Let's stop stargazing and think about what we're doing. So 3,500 feet. There's the second waterway. Airport should be just to the north of that. What's that building? That looks a little bit ugly. Looks a bit ugly. I mean, if you look up close, oh, looks like we're turning. If you look up close, oh, that's another thing that this sim does well. Is turbulence. I think there was, some people complained about the turbulence, and I think when I first flew it, I was thinking, wow, this thing's really bouncing around a lot, and it's kind of annoying, but it's kind of like that in the real aircraft. You do get bounced around probably a lot more than you realise, because you kind of a little bit, I don't know, you get used to it and you get a bit zoned out, and you don't notice, like if the visuals do this, you see it on the screen and your brain's trying to interpret it, but when you're in the aircraft and you feel the aeroplane is doing these uncommanded sort of rolls, because you feel that roll through the seat of your pants, your head's already compensating. Your head's already sort of aware of what's going on. I guess that's where the term seat of your pants flying comes from. But so when it's in a 2D space, it does look kind of wrong. It does kind of look wrong. But you know what? Once you get used to it, and it's a bit like this head tracking, once you get used to it, you kind of, I mean, I really like it. I really like the that little bit, again, just that another dimension of making it feel, making it feel a little bit more alive, a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more like you are flying in a fluid rather than just controlling the controls of an airplane in space. Now, I have not got eyes on the airport yet. There's a golf course down there. I'm assuming it's a golf course. Looks like what I usually interpret golf courses to look like. But I'm not seeing. I'm going to start really looking around now, because I'm not seeing the airport. Now we know it's a little bit out of town, and there's still town, so we know it is a bit out of town. But like I said, this is a bigger town and a bigger area than I kind of was thinking that would be. I thought we'd just see town and we'd see the airport. There is a cleared area up ahead. I'm gonna kind of head for that. I'd say that's one thing that's probably not so good, is a lot of the scenery kind of pops into, doesn't really pop into view, but the detail comes into view as you head towards it. What appears to be like every house and every street and every tree in the entire world. So, I mean, it has to manage that, and it does a really good job of that. But it's not, that area there could be the airport. It might not be, but it could be the airport. And it's not until you get close, and then the building pops up, the tower pops up. From that perspective, yeah, I think that's the airport. So the airport has basically a roughly north-south runway, and the main terminal is on the right-hand side, northern end of the runway. So I am going to call that the runway. So let's get down to our 2,000 feet. And because we're going to land on 03, which is going from our right to left. We're on the live side of the circuit now, so we could, you know, like I say, cheapen it and go straight into a base and go, yeah, done. To the other side, let down to our 1,500, and then join crosswind. And I mean, we're going to give a call. Damn. Let's do it. There's no one there, but let's do it. Traffic Gotberg, Charlie Hotel 109 is 4 miles to the west, inbound, passing through 3,000 on descent to 2,000, will descend on the dead side of the circuit to join crosswind at runway 03. That's good enough for me. Alright, so should there anybody be down there? They know where to look for me. Okay, let's get down to about 2,000. Descend on the dead side, so we won't get lower than 2,000 before we get to the far side. That's the threshold there, which we will join crosswind at 1,500. I had a flight instructor who said that is what you do. If you join crosswind at circuit height and you give your joining crosswind call when over the threshold, everybody else in the pattern knows exactly where to find you. And I've just done that ever since. Alright, so there's 2,000. Start heading north. Yeah, it's starting to get a little chunky now. I'm just starting to see the frame rate stutter. But my word, I mean, this thing's a bit busy, right? This thing is busy. This is doing stuff. This little computer. Okay, we keep flying. There's the crosswind. We're at our circuit. We're going to descend to 1,500 now and join crosswind here. There's our 1,500. Traffic Gotberg, get Charlie Hotel 109, joining crosswind runway 03. Okay. Let's turn. There's our 1,500. Let's turn. Yeah, we won't do a crosswind circuit. We'll just. I don't see anybody down there. So. Okay, let's do our downwind checks. For me, that's bump, fish, brakes, pressure, check. Undercarriages down and locked with 3 greens. Well, we don't have a say in that. Mixture is full rich. Fuel is on and highest tank selected, but we don't have a say in that. Our instruments are set and checked. There's nothing I really want to set or check in this situation, apart from our altitude. And switches, mags, both. Master switch, we don't have a say in either. Hatches and harnesses secure. Okay, so that's about the runway direction and opposite. Okay. Alrighty, let's Traffic Gotberg, Charlie Hotel 109, turning base runway 03. Final. Instead of final, that was meant to be full stop. Okay, grab some flap. Let's see how we're looking. Oh, I've managed to climb 300 feet. Well done, Chris. Okay, speed's fast. We can come back on the power. Bleed off some of that airspeed with pitch. Get the last stage of flap out and turn on to final. Now for parking, we are going to exit right. Okay, speed's coming back nicely. I think we're looking okay. 70. I can take it back to 60. A little bit more power. There's a little bit of sync going on there. Smidgy more. Dribble in the power. Come on. There's our 60 knots. That'll do. And we control the descent with power. We don't control descent with the nose. The nose is for the 60 knots. And I mean, we're flying a long way down the runway here, but let's keep the power on a little bit. Let's bleed the speed off. Okay, I'll take the power off now. And I'll just try my best to be somewhere near center line. Oh, that was a bounce. That was a little ugly. Let's keep it on. Keep her on. Oh my goodness me! Come on! Don't you be doing no ground looping on me. Oh, that was a little ugly, but they can't all be greasers. Okay, let's pop the flaps up. Let's take the inlets off. Let's pop the canopy back so I can see where I'm going. Okay, it's a long way to the high-speed exit here. Well, I wasn't too worried about trying to put it onto the numbers. This taxiway is okay to use. I can use this one, I guess. I can plug somewhere over there. A funny little wing waggle going on. Oh, interesting. Look at that windsock. So probably where I bounced. So the weather report said variable at 4 knots. That doesn't look terribly variable. That looks very stronger than 4 knots because the windsock's sitting at about a 35-degree angle there, 40-degree angle, and it's not moving around. So that ain't light and variable. That's but you know what? I really should have looked at the windsock. I shouldn't have just predetermined it. That was a bit lazy. That was a bit lazy. I'm trying to find some parking. Okay, I think we can park off over here somewhere. There's a huge hangar there, but it looks like a drive through the countryside to get to that. There's some gates over there. That's not suitable for me. Oh, look, there's a hangar there. I'm just going to go park near the hangar. Actually looks like there's grass between me and the hangar. No, it's It's red paint. I think that's where I'm meant to be parking somewhere down this way. Not sure what these red lines are. Yeah, that's something I should know about. Anyway, this will do. Ah, you know what? Just a little bit further. This looks like an area for people like me. It's a long way from the main terminal where I can get a sandwich, and that's usually where the GA people end up. Okay. That's me. This seems a lot larger than a little GA airport. Okay, let's what we're doing now. Think about what we're doing. So 1000 RPM. Some instructors I've had want to do a mag check at this point, and then power off. Thank you, Microsoft, for interfering with my shutdown. All right, so that's looking good. All right, so let's turn master off. So, so the battery's kind of lasted, but those navaids gave out quite early into the water crossing that I was expecting. So, but anyway, thank you for coming along, and yeah, I'll do the next leg in the Bonanza, I think. Still steam gauges, so I feel like it's not cheating, and then some of those 90 distance ones that are coming up. Let's just refresh our memories. Yeah, so if I do the next 105 in the Bonanza, and then these 97, 90, and whatever I can do in the Chipmunk as we head into Germany. All right, well, welcome to Sweden.